Good evening and welcome to this edition of the Evening News for today, Saturday, March 18, 2023. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. In the headlines tonight, Guyana US will continue to be important strategic partners, says President Ali. Oil companies to be required to develop excess gas under new PSA. Assisting Venezuelans a matter of priority, says Minister TODD. Cop shot to head by cousin dies, and calls mount for perpetrators of hate speech to be held accountable. Now for the news in detail. President Dr. Irfaan Ali on Friday evening reiterated the strong bilateral relations that Guyana shares with the United States, telling a bipartisan congressional delegation that his government is committed to upholding this partnership. Let's have a look at our lead story tonight.
Let me assure you that our relationship with the United States is based on principles. It is based on a value system that we share. It is based on respect, and you have nothing to fear. Guyana is and will continue to be an important strategic partner of the United States, and the opportunities here is open to all and open to the United States and your private sector, and we want to see greater participation from the U.S. private sector and the U.S. here in Guyana.
This was President Dr. Irfaan Ali speaking at a reception on Friday evening in honor of the visiting 7-member U.S. congressional delegation. The team is headed by Chairman of the House Committee on Ways and Means, Congressman Jason Smith, and includes Congresswoman Terry Sewell, Congresswoman Carol Miller, Congresswoman Michelle Fisbach, Congresswoman Beth Van Duyn, Congressman Mike Carey, and Congressman Kelly Armstrong. Earlier on Friday, President Ali and his cabinet colleagues hosted the U.S. officials for a state lunch, during which a number of priority areas were discussed.
We had the distinct pleasure of examining different issues and challenges. We spoke about our experiences in housing. We spoke about the model in Singapore. We spoke about how we can advance the transformation, human resource transformation, and ensure that the human resource transformation is linked to the infrastructure transformation, healthcare, education. But importantly, we said today that our mission is to catalyze the revenues from oil and gas to position Guyana to function in a world 2030 and beyond that will be very, very different. And today, I even asked the congressional delegation to ensure that Guyana and the U.S. can advance the strategic partnership formally on energy security for the United States and Guyana, on climate security, and on food security.
Meanwhile, with the Ways and Means Committee having jurisdiction over U.S. trade relations, Congressman Smith noted that this visit to Guyana provides the opportunity for the members to work with Guyanese partners.
The friendship and the partnership that the American people have with this country will only get stronger. We want to see you all become so successful. We want to see you all become so successful and have the most amazing infrastructure and quality of life. And you're going to do that. You're going to do that underneath the leadership of your president and your vice president and these members of parliament. And so I just want to thank you all for having us to your country. Remember that you have friends in Washington. We are all in the same time zone. We are all friends. We are all neighbors. There's no country that cares about your stability and your prosperity more than the United States.
Additionally, U.S. Ambassador to Guyana, Sarah Ann Lynch, noted that the visit has shown the U.S. Congress officials the strong ties that have been built between the two countries.
Leveraging our close economic links to bring greater prosperity and greater opportunities for the Guyanese people is an important cornerstone of our engagement here, and we will continue to work with the government and the people of Guyana on these issues. Your Excellency, thank you for your partnership. I think you know that the United States wants to remain Guyana's largest trading partner by far. I'm adding the by far. But even more importantly, we want to help produce tangible results with you that benefit the lives.
Nearly a week after he was shot to the head by his cousin, Police Sgt German Semple succumbed to his injuries on Friday afternoon. This was confirmed by Commander for Regional Police Division 10, Hugh Winter. Semple, a 32-year-old resident of Hopetown, West Coast, Berbice, had been stationed at the Tactical Services Unit. Over the past week, Semple had been battling for his life at the Linden Hospital complex, where he was in a critical condition. It was reported that last Sunday, a fight broke out between Semple and his brother while they were consuming alcohol at a bar in Linden. The officer's cousin, 27-year-old Fawaz Macre, intervened to make peace, but this resulted in a fight between Semple and that cousin. Macre, who is a licensed firearm holder, whipped out his .32 pistol and discharged 2 rounds in Semple's direction. One struck the cop to his head, causing him to receive severe injuries. He was then rushed to the Linden Hospital complex, where he had been a patient on life support. Meanwhile, the cousin was arraigned at the Linden Magistrates Court on Wednesday last. He was not required to plead to the indictable charge and was remanded to prison. While priority will be given to use gas in oil production, such as for reinjection purposes, under the new model production sharing agreements, oil companies will be required to develop and submit plans for developing excess gas. Here is Gerald Bryan with the details.
The new model production sharing agreements, PSAs, were released by the government last week to the public for feedback. The agreements, which cover both deep and shallow blocks, also contain provisions for handling gas finds. In the agreement, the operator is required to develop excess gas and to submit plans to the government on how they will go about this. The plan incorporates both utilization and commercialization of natural gas, as well as the markets. It states that if the contractor believes that the associated gas has commercial value, that investor will be required to make the investment to utilize it on the cost recovery terms. This is a similar arrangement that obtains with Guyana and ExxonMobil, which is covering the initial cost of the gas-to-energy pipeline. These costs, amounting to approximately $1 billion, will be recovered by the oil company over a period of 20 years. Meanwhile, Guyana will be getting the gas for free and covering the cost of the natural gas liquid and power plant for the Wales Development Zone. Gerald Bryan, The Evening News.
Coming up on the other side of the break, assisting Venezuelans a matter of priority, says Minister TODD. Please stay tuned.
Place your bets during the matches and win up to $3 million per coupon with live betting. Check out all the different matches and bet types at www.superbet.gy. Superbet, your best bet. Must be 18 years and older. Terms and conditions.
Mobil 1 is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil 1 adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of Mobil.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. As there continues to be widespread condemnation against the Working People's Alliance over the racist and divisive remarks made at its recent public meeting, calls are now being made for perpetrators of hate speech to be held accountable. Luanda McAllister has the details.
This is according to Government Member of Parliament Attorney-at-Law Sgt German, who joined government officials, private sector representatives, and other sections of society in condemning the statements made by WPA Executive Member Tokuma Ogunsi. During the WPA meeting held in Buxton, East Coast, Demerara on March 9th, Ogunsi had made indenturary remarks which, according to Datadin, sought to promote hate and has no place in a democratic society. According to Datadin, there is no protection under the Guyana Constitution for the promotion of hatred and racism.
It is disturbing that people take such liberties and say such things in public settings in Guyana. Anybody who has a modicum of intellect, intelligence, or even common sense would know that every conversation about racial and ethnic division started by madmen ended in tragedy. There is no place for such behavior here. We should not tolerate it.
Datadin added that any attempt to create a racial divide that conflicts with the country's trajectory in building a one Guyana should be condemned. To this end, he called on Guyanese to point out the perpetrators and not turn a blind eye to such divisive speech.
If we are going to be successful as a country, resist this hate speech. We must call it out. We must charge the perpetrators. We must prosecute them. We must make sure that people who are preaching hate understand consequences. And the consequences should not be mild. But it takes us as a people to stand up to say we would not tolerate that. And we have to do that. And whenever there's hate speech, and whenever people are making it, you must call them out for it.
Only Thursday, Home Affairs Minister Robinson Ben disclosed that there is a legal review of the statements made, and if they are found to be seditious, he contended that the law will take its course. Despite the mounting criticisms over his remarks, Ogunse is being backed by his party, the WPA, which has defended him. Moreover, he is also receiving support from opposition leader Aubrey Norton, saying Ogunse's right to free speech must be respected, adding that the utterances from the WPA camp was just poor choice of words. Lawanda McAllister, The Evening News.
Meanwhile, the Regional Democratic Council of Region 5 has also condemned the inciting calls made by the members of the Working People's Alliance. Andrew Carmichael reports that the RDC has now joined the growing list of individuals, groups, and organizations that have criticized the statements, which it says would cause public violence. Here is more.
During Thursday's sitting of the RDC Region 5 Chairman Vicchand Ramphal got the support of the Council in condemning a recent call by Working People's Alliance to Kumo Ogunsei at a public meeting held in Buxton on the east coast of Demerara for the use of guns against the government. The utterances have already faced widespread condemnation from a wide cross-section of civil society, including some opposition members such as Geeta Chandan Edmund, Ganesh Maipal, Daniel Siram, and Georgetown's Mayor Yubraj Narain. However, opposition leader Aubrey Norton defended the remark, saying that a politician's right to free speech must be respected. But when the RDC Councillor Mohammed Ishmael sought to defend the WPA members' remarks during Thursday's meeting, the Region 5 administration remained committed to unity. Ishmael was forced to withdraw his statements that there are two ways to deal with a government. It is through the ballot or the barrel of a gun. Lead counsel of the opposition side of the RDC, Emerson Benjamin, declared that this is a time to unite as he spoke of the development taking place in communities that are not known to support the current administration, a view that was also shared by Ishmael. Former RDC chairman Bindradan Bisnath, who is now a councillor, also took the opportunity to call for a condemnation of Ogunsei's public statement.
As Councillor Benjamin said, we should all be leaders. An opposition, an irrelevant opposition, a member of the WPA who made an erroneous statement calling for violence in Guyana and trying to use our brothers and sisters as pawns. I think in no uncertain term, Region 5, we as leaders here should condemn that statement with one voice.
What the councillor is referring to, I know that all of you are fully aware And when we speak of violence and what is happening in our society, we must reflect on the statements that have been made by some of the leaders within this country. And let me say that from the level of the Regional Democratic Council, Region 5, we fully condemn those statements that were made inciting violence and with an intention to bring disunity among our people. We must remain united for Guyana to move forward. We need peace and unity.
Meanwhile, Vice Chairman Ryan Peters further called for leaders to lead by example as responsible citizens.
Mr. Chairman, we're living in a time when we see politicians, responsible people, publicly speaking violence and hate into our society. Mr. Chairman, but these are issues no one speaks about. Mr. Chairman, we need to confront these issues. We cannot support responsible people generating hate and violence among us. Our kids are learning from us. They're observing what is happening in our society, what is happening around them. Mr. Chairman, we have to lead by example as adults and responsible people.
For the evening news, Andrew Carmichael.
Rubicina Ryan joins us again to report that Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Minister Hugh Todd has highlighted that coordinated responses are being taken by the government of Guyana to address the increasing influx of migrants from neighboring Venezuela, and these efforts are being executed through a local multi-agency coordination committee. Let's have a look.
Foreign Affairs Minister Hugh Todd on Friday participated virtually in the international conference in solidarity with Venezuelan refugees and migrants and their host countries and communities, an event held in a hybrid format in Brussels. He indicated that as a matter of priority, the Ghana government continues to offer registration and regularization services, socio-economic and cultural integration into the Guyanese society, the provision of healthcare, education for migrant children, referrals to protective and social services, and necessary support for the vulnerable. Minister Todd also underscored the commitment from the government of Guyana to render humanitarian assistance to all migrants from Venezuela. The conference was organized by the Government of Canada and the European Union, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, the International Organization for Migration, and the Interagency Coordination Platform for Refugees and Migrants from Venezuela. The principal objectives of the conference were to maintain the visibility of the crisis and to continue to generate resources to support host countries in Latin America and the Caribbean that are undertaking the task of integrating Venezuelan refugees and migrants into their societies. The conference featured the participation of a broad range of actors including host governments, international organizations, UN agencies, donors, the private sector, and civil society. Rupa Sinarayan, The Evening News.
And now for a look at the bird reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic on Sunday, March 19th, 2023 at 3 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. And then again at 15 hours for a period of 45 minutes. Meanwhile, the British River Bridge is expected to be closed at 14 hours 50 on Sunday, March 19, 2023, also for a period of 1.5 hours.
And now the local stock exchange market compliments of Gassi. West Indies beat South Africa after Hope's century. This and more coming up in the Sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.
Miners, welders, and contractors. Have broken parts caused you tremendous downtime? Do you need an extra heavy-duty, dependable welding machine that will get the toughest jobs done and can also double as a generator to power all of your tools? Well, your #1 industrial solutions provider Sylvies has you covered. We currently have in stock the Hobart Champion Elite Arc Welder and Generator. This capable electric start generator produces up to 11,000 watts of AC power to run tools, work lights, or backup power during an outage. It can simultaneously deliver 150 amps weld output and 8,000 watts of generator power and can run up to 14 hours on one 12-gallon tank of gas. This portable generator handles mild steel, stainless steel, and cast iron with a maximum thickness of ½ inch in a single pass. So what are you waiting for? If you can't make it to our 31 High and Hatfield Streets Georgetown location, we can deliver. Give us a call on 227-6226 or WhatsApp us on 623-7755 or visit our website sylviesonline.com. Sylvies Industrial Solution, proudly serving Guyana for over 4 decades.